You've heard some of the biggest guitar buzzwords like guitar solo, phrasing, secrets, and all of that. And today we're going to take a microscope and really focus in on 3 key things that can make your phrasing stand out and make you sound better than other guitar players because you understand it on a deeper level. And when I look at these 3 techniques, I'm going to be breaking down why they're important, how I found it out, and a really awesome way you can practice each one. And to guide us into our first one, what is the most important part of music? If you think it is the melody, you are actually incorrect, because the rhythm is the backbone of what makes a melody strong, and the rhythm is what's important for making your music either groovable and emphasize its happy, sad, ecstatic, whatever emotion suits yourself. So with that thought, rhythm is the number one thing for phrasing well. And the real explanation is just phrasing is about timing. Musical timing is just rhythm. So proper rhythm, one, is going to put you aligned with the chords, which we'll get into later, but things will be said at the right time and extended for the right amount of time. And the way I found this out was actually when I was just playing live. I kind of wondered why my things really hit sometimes and sometimes sounded off. I would jog back my memory, and every single time it was good versus bad. The bad, I was too focused on trying to sound good and not matching the rhythm. And in the ones where I sounded great, they may not have been as technically advanced in wow factor, but they sounded 1,000 times better just because the rhythm was locked in and intentional. And number 2 is the prior answer I said was incorrect, and that is melody. There's 2 ways you can take a solo, and neither way is wrong. You can go for something more advanced and technical, which is when you can think about sort of more of those heavy metal solos, or you can go something that's very melodic, which would remind me a lot of more Pink Floyd solos and John Mayer. But either way, there is still a melodic backbone. And with the melodic one, obviously it's focusing on melody, something that is hummable for your voice, so people can latch onto it and actually enjoy your melody because it's something their brain can understand. And of course, technical, don't think there's no melody in there. You have to make there a melody even when you're doing some really shreddy things. It may not be as trackable, but you have to go in and out of something people's ears can process, so then when you contrast into something super shreddy, tappy, sounds fucking cool as hell, it actually really sticks out because you just went from hooking them in with the melody and then really just blowing their brains out with this awesome soul-shredding solo. So using melody, even when you want to go more of that technical proficient route, is still absolutely essential. And then playing just melodic solos to tell a story is another very valid thing that in its name focuses on melody. And the way I discovered these 2 things was when I was just playing around, I kind of just learned what I thought sounded better. And then for solos I played live, again, off the same example. If I played something shreddy after kind of giving a good melodic hook, it just got a lot more attention and it had a much better result. Because one of the key components of music people overlook is just contrast. Contrast equals attention. And number 3 is phrasing can never be good if the context doesn't match. No matter how melodically awesome your happy solo sounds, if we're playing it over some sad, depressed indie chords, it's just not gonna hit. And even though there's nothing wrong with either track, it's simply you just have to tell the right story at the right time. And of course, the way I figured this out, again, very similar, just playing on my own. When I use the 3 practices I'm gonna detail in a minute, I just kind of discovered that, hey, I gotta actually focus on the emotion of the bandmates, what the bass is doing, especially the chord progression, and the drummer, what their timbre, emotion, and feel is, because that's really gonna dictate what I'm doing, because the main goal of a guitar solo is to find the context and amplify it, really drive home on the emotion your other people are playing, and that is just going to make everybody sound a million times better. And as I promised, What are 3 things you can do to practice this? For the first one, you have to practice your rhythm. One of my favorite things I've ever done, I have shorts up on this too. Go scroll some tab website, find your favorite song, don't care how simple it is. Look at the drum beat. Here's your low note, here's your high. Maybe if there's some wood blocks or toms, you can get a little more complicated with some other strings. But then just learn how to lock in your rhythm. And then, of course, you can take that into chords. And that is going to give you an awesome rhythmic sense. And the second one is actually just how to add on to your practice. I know you are on the right steps and you already practice phrasing, but do you do it with a chord progression behind you? Because no matter how awesome your phrasing can sound, remember, those chords are what actually make it good. So practice your phrasing with the chords so you learn how to phrase on top of the proper context. It's going to change your life. And of course, the third one is to very much practice melody. Practice it as if you're almost playing vocal lines on your guitar. Start implementing that into playing melodic solos. Get good at playing melodic solos on the right context, and then take these melodic solos, and of course, you gotta be able to throw in some of that really flashy, cool stuff. That's just what's gonna set you apart from basic melodic stuff, and learn how to go from melody to shreddy if that's the type of player you want to be, and that is going to make you so good. Always keep the backing track in mind, and then learn how to go from melody to shred to melody to shred, and just make everybody fall in love with your guitar playing. And of course, if you want to learn how to actually play the right pitches over the right rhythms, watch my previous video. That's going to help you with that. And of course, subscribe for more guitar content to learn it faster and better than anywhere else on YouTube.